What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Alvarez Project, talking with filmmakers, entrepreneurs, and people behind the camera. Today's guest is a good friend of mine, somebody I've worked with, somebody I've been able to do productions with, as well as just get to, hang around with, do some degenerate stuff with before. Not gonna put ourselves out there, but today we have a gentleman who is a production company owner, a actor, and just all around cool guy. We have Mr. Timmy Hanlon on the show today. Timmy, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Of course, thank you so much.
I know you have. I think I have a busy schedule, and then I talk to you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'm going to like St. George this week for a shoot, and then Japan next week, and then Mexico." And
yeah, I like that hat, by the way.
That's I wore it specifically for this episode today.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
but yeah, thanks for having me on, dude. Yeah, it's a crazy journey. A lot of people seem to forget about when you're just watching something, you don't realize how much work goes into it or how many people are involved. And that's why I think one of my favorite things to do is after I finish like a movie in the theater is just sit through those credits and let people watch them.
Give them their credit. Yeah.
Yeah. Puts it in perspective. Like, wow, this took 300 people to make this. So.
Yeah. So speaking of films, you actually helped me create my first, I call it my first film, but I can technically call the stuff that like George and I did at Sticky Paws Films, because they were like, I wrote them, I directed them. Mm-hmm. We, did takes and all that. Mm-hmm. But this was like I would consider it like, and I don't mean this literally, but like full production where it's like, no, you have to have your script, your shot list. You got to have all this. Definitely humbling. And now whenever I see a movie, I'm like exhausted. I'm like, I already know that it took us 7 hours to film this 4-minute movie.
Yep.
I can't even imagine how many months or years it did that took to do that.
Yeah. I mean, again, watching those credits, you'll just see just all these people, just like the carpenters and the gaffers and the grips and
production babies.
Production babies, yep.
Yeah, which it was funny. Right before we started this episode, I was scrolling on Instagram, which is a bad habit, and I saw this video, and everybody was clapping because it was a student film, and so it's like his name, and then they'd be cheering, and then it'd come to somebody else's name for like one thing, and they'd stop,
yeah,
and then they'd wait, and they'd come back, yeah, it's him again,
yep.
So being an actor who's also on the other side of the camera, how much has being on the other side of the camera helped with your acting?
I mean, I think it's helped a tremendous amount. I mean, I like to consider myself just like first and foremost a storyteller, right? I think story is the driving factor in our lives. And I apply that to both my acting and my production company. Whether I'm doing, a narrative feature that takes, 2 months to shoot and 3 years to put into post-production, or I'm doing a YouTube video, or I'm doing an Instagram short. Like, people stick around for the story, and we've seen so many cases where, you can have $100 million budget movies and the movie, people don't like it, but then you can have movies that, some people shot with their iPhone and it's acclaimed, so like, I think it's helped me a lot to understand every aspect of creating, right? Whether it's where to stand when the light is hitting right, how to, position myself in ways that benefit the lighting and the camera and the team and hitting marks, and understanding that someone is sitting behind the camera pulling focus and like what that takes, and like not to just be like moving around crazy, obviously not limiting myself, but just having an understanding of what it takes, but also an appreciation, right? Like, again, people don't realize how much work goes into creating any content.
Yeah.
Shooting, editing, that takes a tremendous amount of time. Especially editing. Like, shout out to the editors out there, the unsung heroes, because I have like a rule, like whatever amount of time it takes to shoot it, it's gonna at least take double that amount of time editing it. And it's just normally one person sitting in a dark room by themselves listening to the same clip over and over and over again. So
yeah, I guess guilty as charged on that case. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so before we really dive deep into the production company and the acting, tell us how you got started. What led to us sitting here right now?
Oh, wow. It's a long story. But I mean, I've always, the camera has always been my outlet, right? Ever since I was like a child. Like, I remember getting those like, VHS cameras and then the digital cameras and everything. And I always loved just like setting them up and like making movies. It was like my way of like playing. Like, I would I would make skits with my friends in like 2006, like early
glory days,
early YouTube. And then, I mean, I even did like, even when I would like play video games, I turned it into, like videos. Like I had videos on Machinima, like way back.
How
in
did
the
you
day.
do that? Did you do the good old put the camcorder here and just zoom in?
I started like that, but
Okay.
then I was able to buy like those big fat like
the capture cards?
yeah, but like it wasn't a traditional capture card. That was even before capture cards were a thing. It was like a workaround that people would use to like record their like TV shows. And so I would use that. It was like this big box, this big silver box. It was crazy.
Was it like a VCR almost? Like,
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And you had to do like all these like analog passovers. It was crazy.
Just to get some PS2 footage back in the day.
Exactly, literally. But and then I just kind of always did that. I always was making skits, you know, creating stories. And then when I kind of got into college, I needed a way to support myself. And I started doing like, you know, I would do like family weddings and family photos. And then that kind of spreads from like, you know, someone tells another person, that person tells another person, that person tells another person. And I kind of just throughout college, like built this thing just as like a total freelance business, which, you know, weddings was where I really started. That led to real estate. Real estate led to a lot of other things.
Why is it we all start in weddings? Like
I think it's
like I didn't start filming, but I started editing weddings.
Yeah, it just kind of happens. I mean, they happen all the time, especially in a city like Vegas.
True.
I mean, it's
true.
You can go anywhere down the strip and you'll see wedding chapels. So, but then I started helping. My dad has a pool company here, and he wanted to like get on social media, right? Like everyone needs to get on social media. So I started doing his pools, and he did a few of the Raiders pools, and I knew I had shot the house that the real estate agent did. Then my dad built the pool that real estate agent sold it to, and when I was shooting the pool, Big Hank came out. I don't know. You know Big Hank.
So you monopolized basically your little workful there. Yeah,
so,
you had a grip on the market already. Okay.
And he kind of came out and was like, "Oh, I'm starting to, you know, I want to do a YouTube channel." And I was like, "Cool, yeah. I mean, I've done YouTube channels, blah blah blah." And I had a lot of other clients like before that. But Hank was like my first big, like, you know, I mean, at the time he was balling. Amazing.
Who was he playing for at the time?
The Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Jonathan
he's with
Hankins.
Seattle now?
He's with Seattle now.
Okay.
Yep. And so I started doing his YouTube channel, and then my name just started getting passed around because they were seeing just the work that I was putting out. And then I started doing a bunch of other players on the team. And then the Raiders eventually called and were like, "Hey, like we see what you're doing with all the players. Like, why don't you just do it for us?" And then, you know, in the NFL, players move around a lot. So, you know, players get traded, they go in free agency. So just over time, I just kind of created this network of people that I knew all over the country. And then same thing happened. One player, another player, another player, another player, another player. Team calls. Then I'm working for the team and the player on the same game. So, and then I work with a lot of other athletes, bodybuilders, influencers, companies, a lot of corporate work here in Vegas. We have the biggest, one of the biggest, like conventions.
Yeah.
So like, companies come through here all the time. And yeah, I mean, that's a long story short. Like, you know, it's just kind of, I've never like promoted anything. I've just let.
So you never like ran ads
Never.
for Rising Sun or anything like that?
Never. Just let the work speak for itself. And take pride in the work and be passionate and always bring 110% to every single project I'm working on.
That's amazing, because I'm in a weird spot now where it's like I'm about to start running ads, but then like nothing. I haven't ran ads at all, and yet I'm still doing same way as you. It's just my name gets passed around.
Yeah.
So, in terms of working with these big athletes, how would you say it differs from working with like real estate agents or smaller companies or corporate? Because I've worked with a few, but probably not as many, and probably not as quite as big.
Yeah.
So is there like a weird, almost like you have to kind of like catch yourself at times when you're like, oh, that's Hank. Like now you're friends, but like when you're first working with him.
I mean, I'm not like starstruck.
Right.
Like,
okay.
You know, and I think I always just put the work first, right? Like I know what I'm doing. Like when you're prepared and you know what you're doing, there's nothing to be worried about, right?
Right.
But also being able to pivot. Like you have to be able to pivot. That's another show that I work on, Ryan Clark. I do the Pivot podcast.
Okay.
And West Coast when they're here. But then I also work with RC himself. But especially with athletes, I love them. They're awesome. They are so busy and they are so locked in. You need to be ready to flip everything in a second, right? Like it'll literally be like, all right, we're going to go. Oh, no, we're not going. Okay, we're going. Okay, it's happening. It's not going to happen. Like it is like that all the time. And they'll do it in like spurts, right? Like when they can, they will. But like, you know, I mean, they got a job to do, right? Like, and you know, media is very lucrative. We all know that. You can make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in media, but it's hard to get there. And if you're working with guys who are making 20, 30, 40 million dollars a year playing football, what are they going to prioritize, right? They're going to prioritize playing football.
Yeah.
They're
not going to prioritize media.
You know, yeah. So even NBA guys, like I work with a lot of NBA guys, and a lot of times too is these players are so like they've been that guy their whole life, you know? So like they do what they want when they want. So you just got to be ready to you got to be ready for anything when it comes to them. When the instance of like real estate agents, they don't know anything about media. That's why they hire you. So you got to be able to walk them through every step of the way and direct them and teach them, you know, and teach them how social media works and like, you know, what does and what doesn't work. So, and then companies, they just don't care. Like, they're just like, well, whatever. Yeah. I know that my marketing person told me that I need this, so I don't care, you know?
I need a write-off for the end of the year.
Exactly.
Here's 20 grand for marketing. Sure.
So yeah, I mean, all aspects, you just got to be willing to adapt to any situation you're in. But being prepared is always number one for me in everything. Like I want to be prepared for everything. Like if they want to flip something in a second, I'm ready. Like I'll show up to a set with way more than I need then, you know, because if something changes, you know, I got to be ready. So, yeah, I mean, I do that for everybody. I just have that preparation and that, you know, don't panic, react type of mentality.
Okay. So let's go into that preparation a little bit. Mm-hmm. What do you find? Cause I really like to nerd out on this podcast in terms of equipment. What do you find yourself grabbing the most for shoots, whether it be camera wise or lens or? Yeah.
I mean, it always depends on the job, right?
Gotcha.
Like I've shot on everything. I've shot on RE35s. I've shot on iPhones, right? Like and everything in between that. I'm a Sony guy mostly. Like
that's why I had you on the show.
Yeah. If I have a choice, but again, you know, a lot of sports is Sony, right? You're rocking the you know, FX6, you're rocking a FX3, 70 to 200, you know, 24 to 70. Like those are like everyone's using that. And then there's like some photo people who do Canon. And you're like, all right, I don't know what you're doing here, dude. But
in your weird world of Canon lenses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always using that. I always keep like lavs on me. I always keep a backup shotgun mic on me. Because again, story, like if the story needs to be told and you need someone to talk or you need someone to do something or you need to capture like a hot mic or something, you got to be ready for that. A lot of batteries. Always check that you have memory cards.
Yeah.
You know, these are things early on that you learn pretty quick. You go to shoot, we're like, all right, no memory card. You're like, oh, Well, now I'm in trouble. So I actually keep backup memory cards in my car at all times.
Just always on deck.
Always.
Don't worry, ladies. He's always ready.
Yeah.
With memory cards.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, just like, have a screwdriver, have gaff tape, have, yeah, I mean, I try and stay ready. I mean, I keep a C-stand in my trunk and a sandbag. Like,
no, you're ready. You're prepared.
At all times. Like, I literally was at my brother's wedding.
Right.
And they were like, we have no way to hang up this like curtain, like outside. And I was like, oh, I got a couple stands in my trunk, and I'm out there like setting up C-stands for my brother's wedding. I don't recommend leaving any gear in your car, though. By the way, I have had that stolen.
I haven't had camera equipment, but I've had very extensive guitars stolen out of the back of my truck before.
And it happens quick. AirTags on everything in your car. Secret AirTags, fake AirTags. Just put AirTags everywhere.
Fake air just to throw them off.
Just to throw them off because it'll say like, oh, I'm tracking, and then they'll toss the AirTag. But then you got a secret AirTag. Second AirTag buys you another like 2 hours, right? I mean, that's legit. Like, I literally like will rip seams and put an AirTag in there, and then sew it back up, and then have like an obvious ass AirTag.
George, can you take because I'm getting ready to do an out of town shoot for an entire week. I need to think of this.
But that's another thing too, is like if you're traveling, which I do a lot with gear. I travel almost every single week with gear. I've gone all over the world with gear. If the airport loses your stuff, you're
screwed. Yeah,
you're screwed. So, but there's been times where like, I'll like walk up to the TSA agent and be like, hey, my bag is not on this plane and we're boarding. So you need to go get this bag. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, oh, okay. And then, it shows up, but I've also have it not show up. Yeah. So it's like, you just got to be prepared, and obviously don't put anything like essential in a check bag, right?
Yeah.
Load up that backpack, load up that carry-on with what you need.
Yeah.
You need some underwear, you need your camera and a memory card.
Everything else is optional. Shirts, pants, no.
Yeah. I mean, you could get all that wherever you're going. You can't,
True.
You don't want to drop, 10 grand on a kit for a day. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Sony, I'm a big, I love my A7S IIIs. I love them.
Yeah, they're. I mean,
same sensor.
I've only ever
half
used
the price.
George's, because I rock an FX6 and then an A7 III.
Yeah, they're great.
Now I'm finding myself, at least for this shoot coming up, that I might just have to leave my A7 III like in the locked office, and then it's only going to be used when I can I know I have 15 minutes to set up for this shot. I'll bring out the FX6, but for the most part, it's just going to be A7 III. But I see that the most people using the A7S III, and then the FX3. So I want to ask you this as an FX3 and also an FX6 user: is why does the FX6 not get any love, in your opinion?
The FX6 doesn't get any love?
I never, at least
Who
publicly,
said that?
a lot of influencers are like, I love the FX3. No, I hear crickets about the FX6.
No.
Industry guys, I hear a lot about the FX6.
I mean, everybody's using the FX6, but also it's just, again, it goes down to the project. Like, it depends on what they're doing, right? The FX6 is a bigger camera. It's a cinema style body camera, so like if you're running that, then you're going to need like the extra ports, like the SDI, like everything like that. But and internal NDs obviously are the GOAT of the FX6, but I mean, it's I've never heard crickets about the FX6. I mean, it's one of the best-selling cameras of all time.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, you go on Amazon, there's like 3 left at all times. It's usually just like 3 to 6 are left. But anytime I'm like looking, or even not looking, it's always FX3, 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 FX3. Is it really just because of the form factor then, I guess?
I mean, it's a light camera. It's still got like the cinema aspect to it. Like, it's got all the mounting points that you need. It has, the similar menus. But that's why I'm a big fan of the A7S III, because now they just updated it. And now the A7S III and the FX6 are the same camera. A7S III, FX3, and FX6 are all the same camera. They're all the same sensor,
right?
All the same menus outside of mounting points and internal NDs. But you can get an A7S III for
like 2?
Maybe. Yeah. I think it's still a little bit like 25,
Okay.
27.
But an FX3 is like 35?
Yeah,
4?
easily. And then an FX6
is
is like 6.
Yeah.
So, you know, and, you know, again, if you're traveling, like traveling with an FX6 is a lot harder than traveling with an FX3 or FX or A7S3. So
you can put the FX3 in your carry-on.
you absolutely can.
There you go. Now you don't have to worry about a check bag.
Yeah, I mean, I've put 3 A7S3s in a backpack and shoved it under my seat in front of me, and then shot a podcast. Like that's how tightly packed you can get with those cameras, which you can't do that with an FX6.
No, you could probably put the FX6 and maybe 1 or 2 lenses in that same backpack. Okay, so with somebody like Ziegler or even Hank, when you're going out and doing these videos, obviously it sounds like for Ziegler it's probably a little more planned out than a lot of these other sports guys who are kind of, especially during the season where it's very busy. Do you find yourself writing a shot list beforehand, or do you kind of just take it as you're there at the shoot?
No, I mean, specifically with Ziegler, what we do with Guest Pass is we've now been doing it for, you know, over 2 years. So we kind of I have a checklist like on my phone, not necessarily a shot list, but like a, you know, make sure we get this, make sure we get this, make sure we get this. And we'll just kind of, you know, we kind of find a flow of what we're doing. And I really want to be creative every time. I don't want to make the same video 200 times, right? Like I want to have the same style so the audience has expectations that they can feel, but I still want to leave room for creativity.
So what does that look like then in terms of being variable with it, but keeping kind of like a foundation?
Yeah. So keeping a foundation, right? Like we'll make sure we'll hit all the marks, but then also making sure we leave room for that creativity, you know, whether that's through timing, whether that's through just attitude, right? Like bringing that, like, I want this to be creative still. I want this to pop in a way. And sometimes it's a lot of the time it's just in the moment, right? Where we're just like, actually, I have an idea. Like, let me do this right now. And allowing that flexibility and having that flexibility to be creative. But then also always learning, right? Like always learning editing techniques, always learning shooting techniques, like having that constant new information is so important. Like we were talking about this right before we started about like, if you're not creating, you're consuming. Behind the scenes work, like you're always creating, so you don't really watch anything. But I think it's important to step out of your own, you know, echo chamber of I'm the best, everything I'm doing is perfect. I don't need to change anything, it's working. And stepping into seeing what other people are doing is really important to build on inspiration, right? Because that's how we all built our own style, is built off inspiration. So you don't want to lose that.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of go back to what we were talking to before we started recording, where we were talking about, I asked you if, and we don't have to name any names, but I was talking about how some of my clients allow me to kind of be a little bit more directive or be more creative and executive with the decisions we make creatively. Which do you find that you like working with the best? A client that comes to you and goes, I know exactly what I want, I just need you to have the technical know-how, or somebody who comes to you and is like, I kind of have an idea, make it happen?
I mean, I don't know if I have a preference necessarily. I just try to, again, be flexible in every situation. If I run into a client that knows exactly what they want and they have the shot list and this is what they want, it's kind of like, all right, well, this is kind of just easy, but it's also, I think over time I would get like burnt out of that because I want to be creative.
Yeah, it almost becomes like a 9 to 5 at that point.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you flip that on its head and you're, getting, paid to shoot something, but then you find yourself producing, directing, doing all this stuff, then you, again, will get burnt out. So I think it's finding that balance and finding that connection with the client to where like you guys both have expectations that you can both meet, right? And having that open communication, that open transparency of like, hey, I think I'm doing way more than, we originally agreed to.
Right.
But, I mean, I haven't really run into that too much. I think finding that like channel of communication of like, hey, I think this would be a good idea. And then the client also has to be receptive to that. So I think I like a little bit of both though, because sometimes,
right.
Again, if you're too creative and you're too, dumping all of yourself into someone else's ideas and stuff like that, like you'll get burnt out. But on the other side, you're just a camera operator that does nothing. You're just kind of like, what is this?
I just press and move the camera.
Yeah. So I think a good balance of both is good.
Okay.
I know that's such a sit on the fence type of answer.
No, but it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. So walk us through what the journey has been like with Rising Sun, like kind of building up that production company. What has that journey been like for you?
Man, it's been crazy. Because not a lot of people realize when they get into this that the business side of it becomes like the main thing, the taxes, the paying people, the getting new clients, the retaining clients, deliveries and expectations and everything like that. Like I really find myself trying to like get back to the creative aspect of it and run away from the business aspect of it. But everyone's got bills to pay. Yep. Everyone's got families to feed. And so, you look at it like that, like, okay, this is a business. Like it has to, if this is what I'm doing, it has to make money. Right. Yeah. But you also want to make money in the right way. You don't want to end up, where you're, paying, absorbent amount of taxes, or you're overpaying people, or you're underpaying people. Right. That's a big thing for me, is like, I want to make sure that, I want to run a very, high integrity company, right? Like I value the people that I can employ so much. I value the clients that I have so much. Like I'm chasing perfection when I'm running my company. And there's, I look at companies that are, $1 billion companies that have certain, cultural things that I think are really important. I try to implement that. So like, I have 3 editors that work in-house for me. And I tell them, like, make sure you take your breaks, make sure you take your lunches. Like, don't do too much, because you're going to have to do this for the next, 5, 10, 15 years. So I want you to at least try to enjoy it. Because that's the thing, is like, work is work for everybody. But if you can enjoy your work, you'll be a lot happier. And then we also do mental health walks. I think it's so important. Oh. Yeah, because what I was saying about earlier about editors are just sitting isolated in these rooms watching these videos. They need some
vitamin D.
Yeah,
they do.
So we do like 15-minute mental health walks where we'll go and we'll walk outside and we'll talk about nothing work related. I have them, talk about like what's making them happy, what their goals are, stuff like that. And if it leads to work, it leads to work. I just try to make it kind of a stress-free environment.
That's really cool. Yeah, I try to do that with, I have 3 editors. Mm-hmm. It's funny, when we were talking about kind of outsourcing a little bit earlier, George and I, the first thing we were was like, we need like good editors. Granted, I still have dedicated clients that I do 100% of the editing for, but for like a lot of like my podcast clients and stuff like that, it's like, I know, like one of them, I remember I had a client get upset with me because I did outsource. And I was like, well, 1, like, how do you expect me to scale the business? 2, your like quality of clip went up, like at no extra cost. Mm-hmm. So what are you looking for with good editors? Because I feel like that's the thing that we're always trying to hire for. Yeah. And that's always the thing where it's like, I feel like it's always such a mixed bag of skill level. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. People do not realize how expensive editing is. Yeah. They think, the shoot's going to be the most expensive part. It's not. It's going to be the edit, because the edit is basically the reshoot, right? Like that's where everything comes together, and it takes a lot of time. Like you said, when we shot a film, it took 7 hours for 4 pages, and we had like 5 people, right? It was a very smaller.
Yeah, I think in total it was 4 of us. Oh, it was 4 of us. Yep. I mean, we had some auxiliary staff who were really helpful and really great. Yeah. I would to counter that, I would say it took me way less time to edit it than it did to.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is with narrative films, right? Like you kind of stick to a script, but if you're doing something
almost run and gun where
run and gun. Yeah. Where you're building the story again. But even podcasts, people don't realize how long a podcast takes if you want it to be perfect. Right. And like, you have situations where like, here and a lot of the podcast I shoot you have a live engineer, right? Shout out George behind the camera.
But oftentimes it still doesn't just end there though. Like,
it doesn't.
Like for this show, like I add in footage of things you're talking about and stuff like that. And then clips and even the back end, like writing up titles and descriptions and doing blog posts and all that. Like it's still like there's more to it than just sitting here and then it's done.
Yeah. And then if you start to add in like, something that I think my company has kind of built its reputation on is like cinematic vlogs. Like
I would watching a couple of the Ziegler vlogs. Like I was like, this is hold on now. Like, I don't like, it's almost like you put like a Quentin Tarantino film in like a local like film festival. You're like, all right, hold on now. Like this is, they're both good, but like there's one clearly a little bit like you're not just holding, or maybe they are just holding an FX30 and just vlogging. But like I've seen those and I would agree with that 100% that they are very cinematic and very well done, especially for, which I don't want to say it in like a demeaning way, but like for a vlog, like you think like I just did one yesterday and I literally put an Osmo on my desk and just like talked to it for 5 minutes and I was like, all right, cool, we're done.
Yeah. But, no, these are literally like the ones that we're making for Ziegler. Like it's called The Road.
I would say it's more of a documentary than a vlog, right?
It's every single episode is a documentary, like with a full story, like multiple storylines all going at once. I mean, and something that's really like another signature style of my company is music. Like we take so much time on the music.
Yeah. When we did the film, I was like, oh, so and so. You're like, nope, they're doing it. You're like, I'm making the executive decision now. We're gonna do the music right. And thankfully, I mean, I think it worked out well. But I would say that you definitely are, and you're a musician as well, just like myself. So I think that's also a thing where we're like, I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to the music. Then.
Yeah, I mean, it drives so much emotion, right? Like you feel it so much more. But then you gotta mix and master. You gotta color. You gotta And me, I'm a perfectionist, right? Like I will, if it's I'll watch a video 30 times before it's done. If it's an hour-long video, that's 30 hours of just watching it, right? If not more. So like, because there's fade ins, there's fade outs. Like there's so much importance in that, because if there's like a slip up, you've lost your audience, right? Like if they're like, what was that? Oh, I don't know. Back to scrolling, like
right.
So I think that's so important. And once it's up, it's up.
Yeah.
And if I go back and I watch something that I made and I'm watching it and it's live and I see a mess up, I am like, this sucks. And I know that's just me. Like I'm probably the only person. And
I wouldn't say the only one who's like that, but
yeah, like, well, in that specific video, like to me, I'd be like, dang.
Even the client could be like, this was great. And you're like, but at minute 13, frame 8, there's a
weird glitch. Yeah.
You can see the breathing on the lens that nobody else is going to notice, but I noticed.
Going to know that. But that's just me. Like that's what I mean is like, I take so much pride in running a company that is as close to perfect as we can get it. And I want the work to speak for itself. That's always been a main thing for me. Like I want people to see the work and be like, wow. And then I want them to meet the team behind it and be like, oh, wow, these are, these are good people, right? Like I build a lot of my company on trust, right? I work with a lot of athletes and I have been pitching to athletes for years and years, control the narrative. But to be able to do that, they need to have someone that they need to have someone that they can trust. Right, because you're going to see everything of their life.
Yeah,
and you need to show the best parts of their life, right?
Yeah.
Because that's also important. It's like finding that balance of like, hey, this should be private. Hey, this can be public. I mean, that's what we live in. Everything is on social media.
Yeah, but arguably too much sometimes.
Arguably too much, but it's also so curated, right?
Yeah.
Like so many people think like, oh, this person has this perfect life, and then it's like, to them they're like, oh, I'm so stressed out all the time, blah blah blah. So it's like, you gotta find that balance. But yeah, building a company that like people have trust in is so important, because if you have trust, they'll keep working with you. They know what they're gonna get. They know how it's gonna happen. They're a part of the team, right? Like that's always a big thing for me, is like telling my clients like, hey, we're on the same team.
Right.
We're all me and you are working towards the same goal. And so I think that's really important, and just like sticking to those values, like no matter what. Like obviously you gotta make your money, but you gotta, you know, you don't want to make dirty money.
Yeah, I think you want to be. Yeah, you don't want to have to sit there and go, I don't feel good for what somebody paid me, and I don't feel like I did what was paid for.
Or you hate every single day that you're not off.
That was true. Yeah, because like now I traded in my 9 to 5 for a 24/7.
Yep,
and I really don't complain like ever anymore about. Or I mean, I'll be like, oh, this client's doing this, but at the end of the day, I'm like, no, I'm still thankful for this client. It's you know, we're all gonna have those days. But so, how long have you had Rising Sun Studios now?
I mean, the official LLC I think is from 2019.
Okay.
And then I was freelance before that, like starting in like 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned a lot, you know, a lot from then to, you know, I mean, and people always want to jump in to get an LLC right away. And I'm like, no, it costs money to do all that.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, there are certain benefits, right? Like you gotta understand the it's just taxes, right? Like you pay your taxes in different ways. Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes.
Yeah, but even, but you know, even like bookkeeping, right? Like you gotta track all your expenses. You gotta know how to separate your personal finances from your business.
That
finances.
was the big one that I learned years ago. But like it was like, no, I have the business account, I have the personal account, and everything business wise goes through the business account, and then everything personal goes through the personal, except for when George and I make parlays. That for sure is a write-off.
Absolutely.
I look over at him and he's just like, I've got
just you know, talk about it on a podcast and it's a write-off. So
it's a write-off. It's a write-off. So I know George's gears are turning because his brother's about to, I'm going to say it now, be in the NFL next year.
Nice.
So, and he does a lot of content with him.
Plays for Arkansas?
Yes. Starting left guard now.
Nice.
He was left tackle and then moved to left guard. Let's hope that the Chargers pick him up because it's Jover, as we're saying, because Joe Alt's out.
Oh, yeah.
So, in terms of having these athletes trust you, how big is it for them with like brand awareness? Because that's something I'm always telling clients is like brand awareness is more so what you're paying somebody for content creation. Sure, it's the content, but it's also brand awareness.
Yeah, of course.
So when you're coming into somebody like a Max Crosby, like they've already got a ton of brand awareness.
Yep.
So how do you approach a client like that where it's like you're already a superstar?
Yeah.
Is it just to kind of help control the narrative, I guess? Or
control the narrative. And I mean, Max is great, dude. He is like one of the best people I've met. Like
as a Chargers fan, I don't like him, but I've heard he's a great person. Amazing guy, amazing story, super inspirational, and just like all around good guy. And he's got really good people around him. I think that's really important. He prioritized that. So I shoot and help produce The Rush with Max Crosby, with Brogan and Darian and Alexis, and you know, even Max's wife. Like they're all so involved in it. His agent CJ, just like. But you know, he's a go-getter, bro. Like he is always trying to maximize. And so I mean, just approaching it with like, you know, continuing to build that brand awareness, continuing to control the narrative, right? Because, you know, I mean, think about it this way, right? And in no way, shape, or form can I speak for any of my clients, but like. Trade rumors go crazy all the time, especially for a superstar like Max. He just had one, last week?
Last week, talking about he's going to the Cowboys. And I was like, you know.
You're going to the Cowboys? And he's like, I am? See, George just freaked out.
Yeah, George just freaked out.
He was like, I didn't even know that was going to happen. It's like, going to the Cowboys.
You know, but then, you know, Max can get on a podcast.
Immediately.
And tell the world it's Raiders for life, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so, you know, stuff like that, just like controlling that narrative. Another guy that does that really, really well is, you know, Ryan Clark.
Right.
You know, he can, you know, jump on his Instagram, and he's so good at that. Like at what he does. Like, I mean, I've literally watched this dude go from a podcast, change his clothes, jump on a jet, be on ESPN like 3 hours later. And I'm like, what the hell? And then be back on the podcast the next day.
You're like, dude, I just saw you and you're on ESPN and then
exactly.
You're back.
Like there was one time we were breaking down the podcast and we turn around and he's already on the broadcast. It was like, what, you know, like, so it's just cool when people can kind of like fight back, because social media, even traditional media, unfortunately, has become this, you know, this click race, this like, because you only have half a second to get someone's attention, then you have to keep it. So like people have gone, you know, clickbait. I mean, it's a well-known thing.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that type of stuff like always frustrates me, like, you know, headlines and misleading.
What gets
you know.
me about it is like I do it for clients, but only because it feels like we have to at a certain point, as opposed to just doing quality content, and that is what gets out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough anymore. Now it's like I want to do it's like I get to do the quality content, but then I still have to like
you still have to play the game.
I still have to play the game to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, especially that type of stuff has just always frustrated me. I'm definitely like let the work speak for itself type of thing. And if you know,
yeah,
type of situation, like I don't want to deceive people. I don't want to clickbait people. I don't want to rip headlines. Like I don't like that type of stuff. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me happy. So I don't want to do it. I don't even remember your original question.
I don't remember either, but that's a great
working with, you know, superstars who already have everything they need.
Yeah, because you're in a different situation than me, where like I've worked with these superstars, but I've only ever been like production or not necessarily as tapped in terms of like getting to know them personally and being like, I'm on your team. It's more so like I'm in George's position and I'm like, I'm gonna make you look good, and that's it. And as soon as they leave, they're gone. So it was definitely a perspective I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I mean it's just helping them build what they want to build. That's at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. Some guys hate media. Some guys love media. Some guys hate media, so they start their own media because they want to control the narrative. And so just like, you know, with The Rush, they have a brand, they have a message, and I'm just there to help elevate it in any way that I can. And so, and this is only something like, this is a newer partnership. I've known Max for a while through the Raiders, through Hank, everything like that.
Right. From being tapped in for so long.
Yeah. So, but this is the first season that I've kind of like actually stepped in, and I hope that, you know, we can continue to build a relationship through that, and I can help elevate that. And there's some really exciting stuff coming from that. I think, you know, the season is crazy. Like, I don't think many people realize how much these guys are in the building, especially a guy like Max, who is literally there from like 5 a.m. to like 6 p.m. every single day. Like, their schedules are packed and they are flying out all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even, you know, Raiders just played on Sunday. What is it Wednesday? Tuesday. Tomorrow they get on a plane to go play in Denver.
Thursday night?
Yeah, they played Thursday night.
Ooh, all right. What's George? When did the Broncos play Sunday too?
Yeah.
Then Denver, then I guess is what you would say.
Whoa,
not Timmy. I'm just saying, hey, George's. We have to have.
Ain't nobody taking no Denver. This podcast is over.
I thought it would have been over when I announced it was I was a Chargers fan. Like, I thought,
that's all right. I got a couple of people on the Chargers.
All right, we'll have to talk afterwards, because I have a former Charger that I work with a lot, but
nice.
But not anybody. I'm also not in the sports world really as deep as you are, or probably at all, really. In
and it's LA, right? Go Dodgers.
No.
Yeah.
Anybody but the Dodgers is what I said for this World Series. Like, I'm a Cardinals fan, so like I have no dog in the race. But I was
Cardinals fan?
Yeah, it's like
you're a Cardinals fan. You're a Padres fan.
I'm not a Padres fan. No, Chargers fan. So my dad.
What was your baseball team?
The Cardinals, like the.
I thought you were saying the Arizona.
No,
Cardinals.
not the Arizona Cardinals.
I was like, how did we get here?
No. My dad's from San Diego, so Charger. I didn't get a choice.
Yep.
Not really big into baseball, but then when I was in middle school and high school, I started getting into baseball. Girl I was dating at the time was from St. Louis. and she was a Cardinals fan, and I was like, cool. And that was the only thing I kept from the relationship.
Okay.
And then, now here I am now. Cardinals fan for baseball, Knights fan for hockey, was a Ducks fan for a little bit, but
yeah.
But so what do you think is next for you in Rising Suns in say 5-10 years? Obviously it could all, change for the better tomorrow, and all of a sudden you're Nike. But what, at least for you, would you want to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, I'm always going to be doing this. I'm a storyteller. I love what I do. I love working with the people that I'm working with. For the next 5 years, I mean, just keep growing, keep elevating, keep making the right choices, right? I think streamlining everything and like getting it to a point of balance, right? The last 2 years was really, really hard for me specifically because I cannot be in two places at once. I cannot be doing two things at one time. So that was really, really hard for me. So finding that balance, it has been really, really important where, I don't lose myself in the work, right? But I can also be there for, my family, and hold those values that, I'm built on, family, health, relationships, friendships, passions, even hobbies, right? Like everyone needs free time. I think there's some conversation that there's no such thing as work-life balance. I'm going to strive for it.
Right. Yeah. We're different though. We kind of sacrifice that for the sake of being our own boss.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely. Like a work-life balance isn't a real thing for business owners, but as a business owner, you can implement things to give yourself a work-life balance. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
If you're any good at it. Yeah. Hopefully.
So, but next 5 years, I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to keep growing. I want to have, the people that are working for me continue to, be able to support themselves, be able to support their families, and live good lives for themselves. While also, doing that for me, and making sure my clients are happy. And I mean, that's like the most important thing for me is just keep doing good work.
Yeah.
And doing it in a way that is healthy and happy for everybody involved.
Okay. So I started, I think I did this 2 episodes ago, but I'm going to ask you as a fellow camera nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. If you're stuck on a desert island, what's the one piece of gear you'd want to have with you? Obviously you want something to save you, but like you got to document.
Got a document?
Yeah. What's the one piece of gear you would take with you or that you would want to have? Yeah.
Oh man.
I think what I did for John is I gave him 1 camera and 1 lens.
Okay. I mean, I was going to say my iPhone.
Okay.
Because it has everything, right? You can make notes, you can take pictures, you can take videos, you can take audio, you can do,
hopefully call if you
that'd be ideal, right? But like, I mean, I've shot so much content that people think it's like on a super camera. You know what comment I get? I know we all get this. Is like, oh, your camera's so good. Oh, what camera is that? Like, oh, what camera do you have? Why does your camera take such good pictures? I need to get that camera. People will say we'll have the same phone, the same iPhone, and they'll be like, "Did you change any settings? Like, what? How come yours looks so much better than mine?" I was like, I don't know.
I just got it, dude.
I mean, I'm
just that guy,
But I've shot so much content like on the sideline with an iPhone that people, have no idea. And so, storytelling is the key. That's always going to be.
That's the main takeaway for today's episode.
I will say having better gear raises your floor, right?
Sure.
Like if you're shooting on some nice lenses and you have some decent lights you can throw up, it's at least going to look half decent, right?
Yeah. You're
yeah.
It's a bell curve now. It's like,
exactly.
We're grading on a curve now.
It raises better gear raises your floor, but it is not the key. Storytelling is the key. And I mean, composition, at least.
Sure. Composition, white balance, autofocus.
I mean, all that stuff could be fixed in the edit, but
Can you fix focus in the edit?
I mean, hey, you could make it a story point. You could, you could throw some text over the screen.
For some reason, this camera has cataracts. That's the story. That's the story we're going for because it was just out of focus. Oh yeah, it's not out of focus right now.
Put it on autofocus. Put it on, or not autofocus. Put it on manual focus.
See, I did that with Travis for a shoot we went to go do 2 weeks ago for, can't say who the client is or the guest was on the show, but you might know and I'll tell you.
I'll say it right now. No, I'm just
yeah, I'll say it right now. It was me. But there was I was like, why are we going to do autofocus like when it's just we're on the person? Like there's nothing else. And he's like, I don't know. And sure enough, we dialed it in, and then it was, the first like few minutes it was like a little soft.
Yeah.
So you just see Travis climbing like over a bed in the suite to like go adjust focus.
Yeah. But I mean, it's that type of stuff sucks, especially if you get the, my favorite thing is like you set up the cameras and then, that's why you got to be flexible. Like you'll set up the cameras. Like imagine if you had this all set up and then I was all, so, this thing work from over here? This is what I was thinking. Let me tell you the answers to the universe.
Yeah, let me tell. I actually have the cure for cancer right here. It's patent pending.
Exactly.
And then it's just
that happens. Like you got to be ready to move.
But now, does that also come with directing the two of being able to like correct that and be like, hey, obviously you don't want to overstep your bounds.
Depends on the vibe. Sometimes
you got to know your place.
You do what you got to do. That is your job. If they're comfortable like that, your job is to capture.
Okay.
I mean, that's make it as easy for them, because a lot of the times, this is another really important thing that I prioritize in my business is they don't remember the video. They remember the experience of making the video. So if they had a shitty time on set and they hated you, but the video was amazing, you think they're going to call you back?
No.
But
the video could be, but they had a great time.
But they had a great time. You gave them pizza,
They're cracking one with the boys.
They're cracking one with the boys.
Do that again.
They're having a good time. Whole video is out of focus, but they're going to call you back, I think.
They're like, hey, man, it's not in focus, but we could do a reshoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so,
Okay.
Prioritize the experience on set, And that's, again, goes back to the values of like taking care of your people. Right, taking care of the people who are doing the work.
Cool. Well, Timmy, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Of course.
What do you have going on? Let the people know where they can find you and maybe any cool things you've got kind of in the works, if you can talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, social media, just my name, Timmy Hanlon, Timmy. Not Tim, everybody. Please.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The only people I've ever called Tim, or their name was Tim. I don't understand the like shortening unless you tell me like, oh, you can just call me Tim. That's okay.
But I mean, it's a really funny story. Like I'll literally meet people and be like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Timmy. And they're like, hi, nice to meet you, Tim. And their name is like, Ryan. I'll like sometimes if
like, what's up, Ryan?
Exactly. But Timmy Hanlon, HAN as in Nicholas, LON as in Nicholas. My company is Rising Sun Studios. Same on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, definitely check out all the work that, the team is putting in. Austin has helped a lot on a lot of projects that we've done. Acting is my passion. It's, what I love to do. But I love storytelling and I love creating content. So I'll continue to do both forever, right? And a lot of the money that I make from Rising Sun Studios, I put into projects, into feature films, into pilot episodes, into short films. We've got a lot of great shorts out in the circuit right now that are rushing it. Very, very happy and proud to say that. We just got 2 more selections today.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
But the client work is also on the Instagram. Jonathan Hankins, Big Time Hank, amazing channel. Shooting content that, I don't think any NFL player is doing, going behind the scenes of game day vlogs, being on the sidelines from morning till night with an NFL player is sick. Going into the locker rooms, doing locker room tours. Check out The Rush with Max Crosby. One of the coolest people and literally, I think, the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, he's for sure.
He's a monster.
One of the best. Yeah,
unstoppable. But we're going to be doing some more really cool stuff. We drop a podcast every Tuesday. Just went live like a couple hours ago.
Yeah, at the time of filming this.
At the time of filming this. So every Tuesday, The Rush with Max Crosby. Ziggler Monster. You probably know him from TikTok.
I didn't know how like big into Legos he is.
Big into
Legos.
Because Legos, dirt bikes, muscles.
Yeah, he appeared on my like TikTok live one day, and he's just like
building Legos,
knee deep in like a build, and I was like, oh, and it wasn't like a small. It was like almost like a Titanic size thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah. So we do 2 shows. We do Guest Pass, which travels the world finding the best gyms in the world. We've been to almost 100 gyms now. Wow. Almost every state, multiple countries. It's you think that every gym is the same. It is not the same.
No.
Every gym is so different, and it has been a really, really awesome experience to travel the world and do that. And then on top of that, he's a bodybuilder. He's an amazing bodybuilder, and we go behind the scenes of what it's like to be a bodybuilder. We go behind the scenes of just his life. He's obviously big on social media, an influencer. So we go into the behind the scenes of that, but then we just do amazing stuff. Like he puts us in really cool positions. We've flown over Tokyo. We've flown over volcanoes in Iceland. We've done bodybuilding shows where we get to go backstage and he, shows the ups and the downs of it, where he's, waking up every 2 hours and measuring his pee, like legitimately like documenting what it takes to be that. So definitely check out all those shows. And then, a lot of the stuff is on social media. Check out all the stuff the Raiders are doing, awesome team over there that, we get to help out. And, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
dude.
of course. Yeah. No, thank you again a ton for coming on, Timmy.
Mm-hmm.
So many, like I'm still digesting all the nuggets that he just gave us. Thank you again so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm really thankful to kind of have you in my life and all the things we've been able to do together. And I can't wait to see what more we get to do together. Thank you again to George for being the best silent engineer, I guess. In this, so he's not even. Up, we do a show at 5 tonight, and he's all over the place with it. But this one, he's nice. Like, no,
hey, he's locked in over there.
He's locked in. Yeah. He's locked in. Well, thank you so much to everybody for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. Let us know who you want us to talk to next, and I'll see you guys on the next one.